You see the title before you, and I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm going to say this out loud fictitiously. All predator catchers, whether Gen Alpha, Gen Z, Gen X, does not matter. All predator catchers are fake in terms of morality and decency. Now, why do I say that? Well, let's look at the history of this country, okay? 77 million idiots, MAGA, fake ass Christians, and of course, fake ass predator catchers went out of their own way and said, how can I blame someone else who's not my skin color for my shitty life? And they voted for ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Yep, they voted for money. They voted for the white man. Now, let's put this into retrospect. Okay? You have these Gen Alpha, Gen Z, Gen X predator catchers, right? What do you see them doing? When they catch a predator? Cameras, light shows, smoke and mirrors, all that good shit, right? But let's look at now. To them, that's actual vigilante, okay? Clowning around, joking around, talking, having 24-hour conversations, decoys, encouraging minors to sext a predator. Yeah, those people, they do that. Now let's look at a cosplayer in Thailand, Singapore. What does he do? He doesn't do no light shows. He doesn't provide screenshots. He doesn't do anything else. He goes out of his own way to find the predator and beat his ass. Now, let's look at the history of predator catchers. All right? Part of this country was triggered when a cosplayer gave belt to ass to a child predator at an anime convention. And what do these predator catchers do nowadays? They jump ship and call bullshit, because that's not how their version of being a vigilante works. And that's the same type of shit with Gideon. Gideon, when he got caught encouraging a minor to do a certain thing with EDP 445, guess what? Guess what the words came out of his mouth? I am a multi-millionaire. Again, and I said this last live stream, once you become a multi-functioning millionaire, you are a piece of shit and you are corrupt. End of conversation. Don't want to hear more commentary. If Gideon cared about the lives of said children, first thing he would have done, beat the fucking pedophile's ass. Plain and simple. Mark chapter 9, verse 42. Now, if we put this in biblical perspective, let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 42. All right? Mark, chapter 9, verse 42. Okay? All right? Where is it? Matthew, Mark. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Mark chapter 9, verse 42. Jesus warns of offenses Okay? That's the title of the chapter. But whosoever, again, but whosoever, one more time, but whosoever causes one of these little ones. Do you know what that means? One of these children. Basically, Jesus is saying, in context, whoever rapes my children. Basically, it says in scripture, but whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me, meaning whosoever rapes my children, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea. Do you know what Jesus was basically saying? He was basically calling out to all fucking predators. Jesus was literally saying, whoever rapes my children, beat they ass till they can no longer breathe. Do you see Kitty Bequita doing that? Nope. Do you see Sped Noodles doing that? No. Do you see Gideon giving belt to ass to EDP 445 when he first found out about him? No. Because he does not care. For he sees the minor as a fucking price tag around her neck instead of actual value. And that's why these fake ass predator catchers, both all Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and Gen X, they don't care about the value of children. They only care about the content they make off of them. So when the minor in EDP 445's documentary was calling out Gideon, she was calling out Gideon for Gideon encouraging the minor to talk to EDP. Again, if Gideon actually cared about actually being a predator catcher, he would have done what the UGE Tadori cosplayer would have done. Give belt to ass. But they don't want to do that because they don't want to save a child's life. They don't want to sacrifice their personal comfort for a fucking stranger that they themselves do not know. What did Jesus told us to do? What are the 2 commandments that Jesus told us to do? Love what? Exactly. Love our neighbors as ourselves. What does that mean? It means selflessness, not selfishness. But what Gideon says in his explanation is basically, oh, well, I could be selfish all I want because guess what? I'm a multimillionaire. That's basically what Gideon was saying. Again, once you become a multimillionaire, you are corrupt and you are a piece of shit. Point blank, period, and a conversation. I had to deal, mind you, this pedophile that I had to deal with is scared of my ass. And he goes by Miguel Miranda, who lives in Riverside, California. He is scared that I'm still around. I told him multiple fucking times. I don't care if they tell me to drop it. I'm still going after Miguel Miranda. Until he's either A, locked up for life in prison, or B, dead on the floor, unconscious. That's just how it is. Because I'm not about to sit here and let someone get fucking murdered all because of fucking Damien. No, I'm not letting that shit slide. So here's what I'm about to do. And yes, I'm calling all y'all fake ass predator catchers out because y'all don't do what y'all jobs says for y'all to do. If you would have cared about the actual lives of children, first thing you would have done, give belt to ass to fucking predators. Second thing you would have done, call the cops. But you don't want to do that, right? Because you don't want to be uncomfortable. You want to be like the 3 officers that stood by and watched as David Chauvin, a white police officer, put his knee on George Floyd's neck. So you can shove that, oh, I'm a predator catcher. I've been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 60 years, right up your ass. Because you're not a predator catcher. If you were, you would have caught David Chauvin putting his knee on George Floyd's neck. You would have done something far more important. Give belt to ass to these predators. But you don't want to do that. Why is it that 50% of black people actually do more vigilante than white people? That's right, because black people have been through worse shit than white people have. Oh, let's talk about 1619. Yeah, what did white people do? Lynch black people on trees. What did white people do with their votes? Oh, that's right. Black women couldn't vote until the 1600s. We came in and took their land. Mind you, America was never our land. It was the Native Americans. And we took our land. And we took their land. The founding fathers were 21-year-old slave-owning white men. Now, let's look at the history of this country and why it has failed as a country. Let's look at the Trail of Tears. Okay? Let's look at the Middle Passage. How many people died? And what nationality? Right. 1,800,000 people died during the Middle Passage. Well, what kind of people were they? Exactly, Native Americans. How many people die of gun violence every year? How many people die of gun violence every year? Exactly, 150,000 people. 70 of them was during high schools. Right? 70,000 of those gun violences happen in schools or in active shooter drills. Do you see Katie Bakita talking about this sort of topic? No, because she doesn't want to be uncomfortable. Do you see Spend Noodles talking about this sort of topic? No, because she doesn't want to be uncomfortable. But yet I'm the only one that talks about it because I rather be uncomfortable, because I rather talk about, I rather, I don't know, care about others rather than myself. Again, all predator catchers are fake in terms of morality and decency. See, the cosplayer would go as far as to give bricks to a child predator at an anime convention, right? And he would get arrested for it. Why? Because he would rather sacrifice his personal comfort for a stranger. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. Okay? Now, if you ever see a video of a predator catcher explaining their life as to why, they became predator catchers, when they tell you they've been a victim, oh, I've been a victim of sexual assault. Oh, I've been a victim of, Charlie Kirk when he was in an active shooter drill. Oh, I was a victim of this. Oh, I was a victim of that. But yet they don't want to talk about Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. For the foreigner, i.e., for the immigrant that lives among you, must be treated as if they were one of your own. Love thy neighbor as thyself, for you yourselves were born out from the midst of Egypt as strangers. So, when you hear someone say, oh, I was a victim of sexual assault. Oh, I was a victim of a school shooting. Oh, I was a victim of this. They're literally pulling the Charlie Kirk trope. They're pulling the Charlie Kirk trope. When they tell you that specific line, that's how you know they don't care. Because they want to blame someone else for their own shitty life. They want to blame this person. They want to blame that person. Katie Paquita wants to blame both Gia and Modern Sonic, who, mind you, are both black and Native American. They want to blame the brown people. They want to blame the white people, but they don't want to blame themselves for Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to revise it for 2026 and onward. First, they came for the immigrants. But Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to me. So I ignored the immigrants because I didn't care about their value. Then they came for the transgender athletes. But again, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to me, so I ignored the transgenders and blamed them for my shitty life. Then they came for the Jews. But again, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to me, so I ignored them and blamed them for my shitty life. And then they came to active shooter drills. Then there came the active shooter drills. But Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to me, so I ignored them and blamed the active shooter drills for my shitty life. Then they came for the gun violence. But Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to me, so I ignored the gun violence and blamed the gun violence for my shitty life. And then they came for me. Then they came for me. And they stoned me to death because they never cared. Or because there wasn't anyone left to help me. So when you hear someone say, oh, I'm a victim of a school shooting, that's when you know they themselves were complicit because they didn't want to talk about it in their schools. Or someone say, oh, I'm a victim of sexual assault. You were silent when he was raping you, so you didn't say anything. Why didn't you speak up? Oh, that's right, because you didn't want to be uncomfortable. That's how America is. It's not about the price of gas. It's not about the price of eggs. It's not about the price of morality and decency. It's about speaking up. It's about the voice. No one said any bullshit when the Black Plague was around. No one said any bullshit when the Black Death nearly wiped out almost half of civilization. No one said anything when the coronavirus was around because they were too damn complicit. Silence is complicity. When you hear someone say, oh, I'm a victim of sexual assault, I'm a victim of a school shooting, they themselves that were victims of those things were complicit because they allowed it in their silence. See, I'm white, but I voted for the presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. I voted for you. I voted for you. I voted for everybody. But part of this country and part of these fake ass predator catchers, as well as Christians, voted for themselves. I voted for everyone else while you were standing by and watching Donald Trump win the election. And you were like, yeah, that's my guy, because I'm a victim of a school shooting. That doesn't matter. But hey, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Does not matter. You were complicit in your silence. You didn't want to be uncomfortable. You were a victim of a school shooting, but you were silent because you didn't stand up to the black woman. And that's the reason why we're here. That's the reason why we're here as a country. It's not just because all fake ass predator catchers are fake, it's because they couldn't stomach the black woman. Oh, I'm a victim of a school shooting. Oh, I'm a victim of sexual assault. Guess what? You're a victim, all right. A victim of complacency. You're a victim of being complicit in your silence. That's what you're a victim of. You just want to blame other people for your shitty life. And that's the reason why you see these Gen Alpha, Gen X, wannabe fake ass predator catchers that want to be like the GOAT, Chris Hansen, or moreover, want to be like the actual hacker Anonymous. Because they think they can outrank Chris Hansen. They can't. And they won't. Because he does it a way that no one else does. Let's not forget, they won't even outrank the cosplayer because they won't do what black people now do nowadays. When a black person sees a child predator, what is their first instinct? Exactly. Give belt to ass. No conversations, no decoys, no encouraging minors to sex the predator. Straight to the point, hands. Don't like what I'm saying about these fake ass predator catchers? Ship your ass right back to England where you fucking belong. Now, mind you, this user, who goes by the name of Miguel Miranda, by the way, he's a sex offender level 3 who lives in Riverside, California. And he's scared of my ass. He's scared. I dealt with his ass ever since Draco was around, whose name is also Draven Barney Lale. Yeah. Draven Eugene Barney Lale. Okay? Who lives in Waterloo, Iowa. Draven Eugene Barney Lale was found liable in a court of law of domestic violence and soliciting with a minor. And guess what? He got arrested for life. And I'm glad he's arrested. I'm glad he's arrested for life in prison. May him rot in hell with Jeffrey Epstein along with Charlie Kirk and Lindsey Graham. Now, you see these fake ass predator catchers, they talk about I'm the hero of the internet. I care about children. Watch when they stand before God and watch how God acts them. Okay, you're a hero of the internet, right? You're a predator catcher, right? Okay, let's start with this question. Do you see these 14 million kids? I wonder, you're the hero of the internet. Then maybe there's some point where you talked about them on your YouTube page, right? I look at it and there's nothing there. Nothing about the 14 million kids that went to school hungry. I thought you cared. Okay. You see these people? Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Lorenzo Salgado, and Johan Sebastian Guerrero. You ever talked about their lives? Oh no. I'm I'm pretty sure you're a predator catcher, and I'm pretty sure you have morality and decency too. Hmm. I don't understand. I thought you was a predator catcher. I thought you cared about children. I thought you cared about the value. I thought you cared about the value. Hmm? All right, let's look at this one. Okay. Um, you see these people right here? Do you see the quadriplegics and the autistics? I've heard that you made fun of them because of their disabilities. Um, Again, I thought you were a predator catcher. I thought you cared about children. Mind you, my words were made clear. In as much as you did not do it to one of the least thieves, you did not do it to me. You were supposed to love your enemies. I never said for you to hate your enemies. I never said for you to harm your enemies. Yet what I see here is you telling them to kill themselves, telling them to off themselves, calling them the N-word, and mind you, they came to you for help. And yet you're calling them the N-word and you're telling them to off themselves? In as much as you did not help these little children, you did not help me. And yet what I see here, I see a video of a cosplayer giving beatings to a predator. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, isn't that how actual vigilante works? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, back in my day, that's how predator catchers were. I mean, that's how fucking predators were dealt. You mean to tell me that you didn't even lay a hand on this man? You went to be civil? You wanted to be a millionaire doing this? My apologies. That sneeze is from hell because of the dust I have in my room. Give me a minute, you guys. Be right back. But yeah, I'm back. My apologies. I had to clean my room because it was hella dusty, and yeah, um, oof, my nose is hurting. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. But yeah, when you hear a predator catcher telling their story, starting off with, "Oh, I'm a victim of sexual assault. Oh, I'm a victim of a school shooting." That should tell you right there that in their life, they never said anything. They never spoke up because they were complicit in their silence and allowed it to happen. Now, back to the whole thing. Now, I'm sorry, but I specifically told many of my children who believe in me that loving thy neighbor as thyself and trusting the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul was the two greatest commandments, which sums up the law of Moses. Um, I'm sorry, but you know, you know, I would allow you into the kingdom of heaven, but see, there's nothing morale and decent about you on this scroll. You caring about others rather than yourself. You talking about Alex Party and Renee Good. The least of these you never did. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to put you right with Jeffrey Epstein and Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I know. I know it sucks. I know you loved me. I know you worshipped me. I know you prayed for me. That you confessed that Jesus, the Son of God, was your Lord and Savior. But I see in this scroll that, you kind of fumbled when you became a millionaire and went to go out and catch predators, you know? So yeah. See, with me, the reason why I gave the cosplayer a pass is, well, he actually did something that was meant for morality and decency. See, he actually cares about the children. See, he doesn't see them as price tags or as content creation ideas. He actually sees them as, decent children. So, yeah, bro, kind of sucks, like, I mean, but hey, it's what my father says. So, yeah, don't blame God, don't blame Jesus. Just, blame yourself for not getting in because, you decided that you wanted to be selfish. So, mm, not a good look, buddy. And that's exactly what's going to happen on Judgment Day. God is going to separate every Christian, every predator catcher, every shepherd, every storekeeper, every shopkeep, every single person, tribe, nation, and tongue and language from the sheeps and the goats. Now imagine if someone like the cosplayer stands before God. God, I was a cosplayer at an anime convention. And I actually cared about morality and decency. I voted for the presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. I voted for everyone else instead of myself. Um, I've also been predator catching with actual hands instead of being a multimillionaire. I never had anything. I was without money, without a car, without a house. I was without anything. But I alone, through your strength, went in and gave these predators the 1-2 chicken piece. I beat them up and I told them, like, turn yourself in or else I will have to do more than just hurt you the way I did now. And this is how, now mind you, I don't have the ability to know because I don't have the authority to, but I do have the authority to feel how it will go. Yeah, I see on this scroll that you've been very faithful to me. You've been helping the homeless. You've been talking about the recent deaths of Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and many more. And you've you've been doing a lot of good works. You've been providing the fruit of the spirit through faith. You've been telling others to pray to me, to love me, to confess their sins to me. You've been doing so good. Even as a predator catcher, you've been doing so good. You've been giving belt to ass to child predators, and you even got arrested for it at the cost of protecting children. See, that's how I know you're mine. See, that's how I know you're my child, because I told you to love thy neighbor as thyself, and you did. I told you to trust the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and you did. I told you to sacrifice all that you have, give in to the poor, and follow me, and you did. So, welcome to the kingdom of heaven, I guess. I mean, you are blessed of my father. So, yeah, and my father says a lot of things about you to me. So, yeah, I mean, welcome to the kingdom, because you actually cared. You actually loved me as you said you did. You actually worshiped me as you said you did. You actually followed me as you said you did. And because you did to one of the least of these, and because you sacrificed all that you had to give to the homeless, you also gave me a chance to be in your life. So, hey, welcome aboard. And that's exactly how it's going to happen. That's exactly how I feel is going to happen with every single predator catcher standing before God, whether it be Gen Z predator catchers, Gen X predator catchers, Gen Alpha predator catchers, Gen Beta predator catchers, or Gen Delta predator catchers. They're going to stand before God, and they're going to be given questions based on their deeds. Have you talked about Renee Good? Have you talked about the recent deaths? Have you talked about the 14 million kids that went to school hungry? Have you done to the least of these? What God is looking for is the heart, not what you did. Have you done to the least of these? Have you done to the least of these of which I told you to do? And that's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm going to tell you this: never, ever, ever trust a predator catcher, whether it be a multimillionaire or a fresh starter. Do not even fall for their fucking tactics. Do not fall for them, because they're going to say to you, oh, I was a victim of sexual assault, when they themselves were complicit in their silence and not said anything. And that is the reason why we are here as a country. Have yourselves a white day.